If you've ever felt insignificant while staring at the night sky, congratulations, you're paying attention. The Earth feels huge. It takes hours just to fly from one side of the country to the other. It's home to over 8 billion people, millions of species, oceans deeper than skyscrapers, and mountain ranges that could eat a city for breakfast. But as soon as you zoom out just a little, our massive, teeming, busy planet starts to look like a speck of dust that got lost behind the couch of the cosmos. So how big is Earth, really? And how small are we compared to the rest of the universe? Well, buckle up. This is going to be a wild ride through space, scale, and some serious existential discomfort. Let's start simple. Earth's diameter is about 12,742 kilometers, or roughly 7,918 miles. Big enough to host all your X's and regrets, but not even close to the largest object you can see in the sky. Take the moon. It's about 1/4 the size of Earth in diameter, but because it's so much closer to us, it looks huge. The moon is like that friend who stands too close in selfies. Next up, the sun. The sun is 109 times wider than Earth. You could line up 109 Earths across its diameter, or stuff about 1.3 million Earths inside it, like a giant celestial nesting doll. And that's just a boring average star. In fact, if the sun were a basketball, Earth would be a sesame seed orbiting 25 feet away. Now, let's get cosmic. Meet Betelgeuse. No, not the movie Ghost, Betelgeuse the star. It's a red supergiant in the Orion constellation. At its biggest, it could be up to 1,000 times the diameter of the sun. If Betelgeuse replaced our sun, it would engulf Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and maybe even Jupiter. Earth would be not just a speck, it would be evaporated speck soup. And yet, Betelgeuse isn't the biggest. That title may go to UY Scuti, a star so absurdly large you could fit 5 billion suns inside it. Not million, billion. If Earth tried to live inside UY Scuti, it would be like trying to park a tricycle in a stadium the size of Jupiter. So let's zoom out further. The sun and its planets make up our solar system. And while we tend to think of that as everything, it's barely a blip. The Oort cloud, the icy outer shell of our solar system, stretches nearly halfway to the next star. It's so big that light takes a year to get from one end to the other. And yet even our solar system is microscopic compared to the Milky Way galaxy. Our galaxy is about 100,000 light years wide. That's 587 quadrillion miles. It holds an estimated 100 to 400 billion stars. Earth is orbiting just one of them. And our star, our sun, isn't even in the center. It's way out in the suburbs of the galaxy, chilling in a spiral arm called Orion's arm, like someone who couldn't afford downtown cosmic real estate. Still feeling okay? Great, because we're not done. The Milky Way is just one galaxy. In the observable universe, there are at least 2 trillion galaxies, each with billions or trillions of stars, each with their own planets, many likely with their own Earth-like planets, maybe even Earth-like questions. Why do we snore? Why do we age? Why do we care? If the universe were a beach, Earth wouldn't be a grain of sand. It'd be smaller than a single molecule in a grain of sand on that beach. And that's assuming we're even on the beach. We might just be watching the Travel Channel version of it from inside a shoebox. The entire observable universe is about 93 billion light years across. That's the part we can see. The actual universe might be infinite, or at least much, much bigger. We don't know. It's like trying to measure the ocean with a teaspoon while blindfolded. Now here's where it gets even more staggering. Galaxies don't just float around aimlessly. They group into clusters. Our Milky Way belongs to a group called the Local Group, which contains about 80 galaxies, including our neighbor, the Andromeda Galaxy. These clusters then form superclusters, and our local group sits on the edge of the Laniakea supercluster, a massive structure containing over 100,000 galaxies, each with its own billions of stars, each with the potential for planets and maybe even life. And even beyond that, scientists believe the universe is arranged in something called the cosmic web, vast filaments of galaxies stretching across the cosmos like spider silk, with huge voids in between. Earth isn't just small, it's tucked away in a quiet corner of a quiet galaxy, in a quiet cluster on the edge of a larger structure that's itself barely a whisper in the endless hum of space. So yes, Earth is small, very, very small. But here's the twist. Even though Earth is physically tiny, it's also massively important, because as far as we know, it's the only place in this entire ridiculously massive universe where life exists, where consciousness evolved, where atoms learned how to question their own existence. Let that sink in. You are made of atoms forged in stars, and somehow those atoms now form a brain that can contemplate stars. Earth might be small, but it's the only place, so far, that knows it's small. That makes it rare. That makes it precious. We are the only known observers in a universe that doesn't even know we're watching. That might not care, but still, we're here. We're asking. We're building telescopes. We're sending rovers. We're bouncing radio waves off the void and whispering, anyone else out there? Maybe one day we'll find something. Maybe we won't. But either way, Earth is where the asking started, and that alone makes it worth protecting. So yes, Earth is small, laughably, cosmically, astronomically small. But it's also the only home we've ever known, the only speck where stories are told, jokes are laughed at, science is done, and questions like this one are asked. And that's kind of beautiful. But let's bring it closer to home. Because knowing how small Earth is doesn't just change how you see the cosmos, it changes how you see yourself. Because if the planet is tiny, what does that make us? The people, pets, problems, and pop songs all swirling around on its surface? Even smaller, right? Well, yes and no. You see, while our physical size is laughable, our mental, emotional, and intellectual reach, that's something else entirely. You, sitting there reading this, are a cluster of carbon atoms that's aware of galaxies 13 billion light-years away. You know about black holes, quasars, DNA, Beethoven, and pizza bagels. You can cry at a movie and calculate pi to 100 digits. You are a blip. Yes, but a blip that thinks. To date, we haven't found intelligent life anywhere else. It might be out there, it probably is, but we haven't confirmed it, which means, for now, consciousness is localized, to here, to Earth. That makes our little pale blue dot a cosmic library, a memory stick floating in the dark, full of songs, dreams, regrets, ideas, and questions, which makes it worth something. Think about it. The same universe that created Betelgeuse and UY Scuti and the Andromeda Galaxy also made trees, and coral reefs, and flamingos, and dogs that get the zoomies after a bath, and you. So sure, Earth isn't big, it's not the center, it's not even particularly impressive by volume, but size isn't everything. Significance isn't about mass, it's about meaning. And this tiny, fragile, overpopulated, overheated ball of rock, it's currently the only place we know of that makes meaning. That's why we should care. Not because Earth is big, but because it's ours. And maybe one day when we do make contact, when we finally hear that signal from across the stars and realize we're not alone, we'll remember how it felt to be the only ones looking up, wondering. Until then, keep wondering. Because that's what Earth does best.